Did you know that one of the biggest secrets to achieving your goal is keeping your goal a secret? I'm serious. I'm going to tell you how this works. I discovered this. Let me see. I discovered this about 10 years ago. It helped me understand something that happened at a track meet 27 years ago. And now, all these years later from both events, I am able to implement this secret in my life. And I do when I remember it, and I don't blab about it during a morning ramble. And I wanted to share this with you because this is something I think can help a lot of you who will often set goals. Maybe you tell people about your goals. You get a lot of support, wonderful people, friends, family who believe in you, who know you can do it, but then you don't do it. But then you end up not really caring, nor do the people who support you because they know that you could have done it. And so you feel good about it anyway. No, that's not the result we want. We want to achieve our goals. We want to set that goal and we want to get it done and then feel good about ourselves because we did it. Not feel good about ourselves because we thought about doing it, said we were going to do it, and those who support us said that they knew we could, but then when we don't, say it's okay because they knew we could have anyway. No, because that goal doesn't get accomplished. All right, I'm just going to spit it out there and say it like it is. I'm going to tell you how I found this secret. Years ago, 10 years or so ago, I had befriended some folks who were trying to convince me that there was this secret organization, a small group of people who controlled the world and who were taking everything over, and who was going to reduce the Earth's surface population to 500 million people, I think 500 million, and all these things. Okay, I'm talking about conspiracy theories and conspiracy theorists here. And if nothing else, some of these people were good storytellers. They told some really good stories, and they talked about, I'm just going to say it. I mean, these are the kind of, whatever, they were talking about the Illuminati and these secret societies and all these groups. So I did some research, and here's why I like to listen to other people's ideas and points of view and all this stuff, whether I agree with it or not, because I can always learn something from it. I can always get something out of it. I came across a top 10 list on some website called The Top 10 Things the Illuminati Do That You Don't. And I thought, well, okay, what's this going to be about? And it was kind of like, it was a well-written little piece on basically how to achieve goals, because the article could have aptly been titled 10 Things Successful People Do That Non-Successful People Don't. And at the end of the article, it actually said, in case if you were interested in sacrifices and strange gatherings in the woods. I'm sorry you didn't get that here. We did kind of, it was clickbait is what it was. But 9 out of the 10 things on that list I knew about, and I think most of us know about, getting up early, staying away from negative influences, don't waste your time hanging out with people for the sake of just hanging out with people to have something to do when you're bored, and spend your time working towards your goals instead of hanging out with people. And we talked about that recently in a ramble. But the little nugget that I got out of reading that top 10 list that has stayed with me, that sometimes I forget, but I remembered it this morning because I was thinking about goals and some things I want to do a little bit differently around here. And I had that eureka moment and I came up with something, and I almost came out here to talk to you about it, but then I thought, no, because if I do that, I won't do it. Case in point, my goat house. I was going on and on and on about goats for a month, and everybody's like, oh, you're going to be great with goats. You're going to love goats. Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. One of the top 10 things, in this list that I read, that successful people who achieve their goals do, that non-successful people who do not achieve their goals don't do, is they keep their goals a secret. Now, it's not because these goals should be something to be ashamed of, or these goals are something that might get them into trouble. The reason behind keeping your goals secret is this. We all have people in our lives who support us and who believe in us and who encourage us. I mean, I have my family here. I don't have a lot of people in my life like this, but I don't care, because the few people who are in my life are the ones who are like this. Once upon a time, 10 years ago, I had, so many people in my life, I couldn't count them. But did they really support me? Well, did they really believe in me? Did they really even like me? Or did they just see me as someone that was fun to talk to if I happened to be in the vicinity? Well, I found out during my down and out in the Philippines years. That's why I cling so tightly to my wife and my son, and that's who gets my time. And I know beyond all reasonable doubt, these two people, you give me two people that support me like those two do, I'll take them over 2,000 people who don't. So, I digress. But here's the point. When we tell our goals to the people who support us, and if you have more than two, that's wonderful. I'm happy for you. But when we tell our goals to these people, and they support us, and they tell us they know we can do it, and then we find ourselves having conversations about our goals as if we've already achieved them. We're talking about, what we're going to do, how our lives will be different after we've accomplished this goal, how people will view us differently, and how that goal is going to lead to the next goal. And so then we're making plans for the goal after that. What that brings about, and this came from that article, and this is psychology here, it brings about an actual feeling as if we've already accomplished that goal. And what that does is that minimizes our desire to achieve that goal, because we're already giving ourselves credit, and those in our lives who support us are giving us credit for having achieved a goal we haven't yet achieved. Roger, Pat said shut up. Didn't you, Pat? He listened. Why does he listen to you and he doesn't listen to me? Okay, Pat said Ron said shut up. All right. So, guys, when I read that many years ago, Roger's not going to listen to anybody, Roger the Rooster, I instantly thought of a track meet back in 1991. Now, I discovered this secret about keeping your goals a secret in 2009. I was on Fort Lewis in Tacoma, Washington. And in 2009, it occurred to me why something happened at a track meet 18 years prior to that. And I'm going to tell you what that was. And this is to show you an example of how this works, what I'm talking about. I was in high school. I was a track guy. I ran the mile, 2 mile, half mile, all this. And at this one particular track meet, I decided this is the day to break our school's record in the mile. And our school record at the time was 4 minutes and 37 seconds, 4:37. So all day at school, I'm telling all my friends on the track team, I'm going to break the record in the mile today. Going to break the record in the mile. We go to this podunk little high school, this little tiny track, it's got potholes in it. I grew up in West Virginia. And there was no competition that could run 4.5-ish minute miles at this tiny little meet. So I had to really run by myself, push myself when the gun went off. And I did that. And I pushed hard. At that time, I think my best mile time was like 4:42. So I'm pushing, giving it everything I got. My guts are hurting. I'm in pain. But I was fit. I was in shape. I was flying. I've got 200 meters to go. That's half a lap. The mile's 4 laps. So I've gone 3.5 laps. I'm under pace. With 200 meters to go, one of my buddies from the track team is there, and he looks at his watch, and he says, "Oh, Lake, you got this. This is great. The school record's in the bag. You just broke the school record. You did it. You did what you said you're going to do. New school record." Instantly, I felt as if I'd broken the school record. I felt victorious, and I wanted to celebrate, and I let up. And in that last 200 meters, when I should have kicked harder than I'd ever kicked in my life, I let up to coast through the finish line because I felt, I'd achieved the goal. The guy that supported me, my good buddy on my 4x800 meter relay team, who supported me as much as anybody in those days, was congratulating me for achieving my goal. I coasted through the finish line, and the timer read out the time, 4:38. It was the fastest mile that I'd ever run at that time in my life, but I missed the school record by a second. If I hadn't let up, I know I'd have broken it by a second. Now, 3 weeks later at the state track meet, I did break the record. I ran a 4:33, and won the state championship. That was way back in 1991. But I instantly thought of that race, a race I probably hadn't thought about in 18 years, when I read that, about how when we tell people our goals and we start self-congratulating ourselves, our friends and family and those who support us congratulate us, we stop working towards achieving our goals because we feel as if we've already achieved them. And then even more important than that, and what's worse, is we don't care. We just don't care because it's like, well, I knew I could have done it. My friend told me I could have done it. I mean, if I would have just pushed harder in that race instead of let up to celebrate, I know I could have done it, so what? But you know what? At the end of the day, and when the next day started, that school record still stood at 4:37, and I wasn't the one that held it. So you see my point? Now, after I read that in 2009, I started implementing that, not immediately, because I couldn't implement anything there for a few years. That's stories I've shared in other videos, but I learned that when I was at the Warriors Transition Battalion at Fort Lewis, 6 months in the hospital after getting back from Iraq and getting hooked on narcotics and just all kinds of, it was a mess. It was a whirlwind. But years later, when I finally got straight, got clean, got sober, got goal-oriented again, because God knows that when I was on that garbage, and I'm going to say when I'm on that garbage because it's out there, if I ever, get dumb enough or stupid enough or not grateful enough for the life I have without those toxins and that poison going in my body, it's out there waiting on me, and no goal will get achieved, whether I tell anybody or not. That's just for what it's worth. So this new goal I have, there's something that we're going to be doing around here soon, starting today. Sorry, I'm not going to tell you. You'll see it. You'll notice it. Trust me. If you figure it out, I'll tell you. But I'm not going to tell you now, because you'll say, oh, Kevin, that's great. I know you can do it. Dearly's going to love that. Daniel will be so cute doing that. And I'll feel like I've already done it and it'll never get done. So take this one to heart, people. If there's something you want to do and it's very important to you and you really want to do it, don't tell anybody about it except yourself. Work towards it. I know you can accomplish it, whatever the it is, but don't tell me about it. Don't tell anybody. Once you've accomplished it, let the world know. But until then, keep it a secret. So thanks for being with us here again for another morning ramble from Homesteading Off the Grid, and we will see you for more next time. And what that more is a secret.